Hey guys, Julie here. I'm so excited to be showing you this really easy way to dye journal pages, and then I'm actually going to show you how to put them together and have a beautiful journal. And I bet you probably have this stuff in your house already, or you can run to Walmart or your grocery store and get what you need. So I'm going to show you a real quick example. Let me see. No, let me. There we go. Okay. Camera angles are all goofy. But this is in essence what I'm going to show you how to make. So this is a journal. This is just cardstock. So cardstock that you can buy anywhere. And I like cardstock because it's a little more heavy duty, but you can also use just regular printer paper. But if you notice, it has this really cool kind of dyed, hand-dyed look. And then I'm going to show you just kind of what some of the pages look like. But see all the cool detail in that. And like I said, this is so easy to do. They make great journals for yourself, or they make great gifts. And the fun thing about this is I try and journal. I try and be, a person that does, good self-care, and I think that journaling is definitely part of that. So if I'm in a journal, I want something pretty to write in. I want something, pretty for my words. I'm just going to kind of flip through here pretty quick, but just so you guys can kind of get an idea of these really cool hand-dyed pages. So this is what we're making. Or this is what I'm going to show you how to make. If you guys want a list of supplies, and if you want steps, because like I said, this is really easy. Once you see me do it, you're going to go, oh my gosh, that's so simple. But go ahead and text me, and then I will be more than happy to send you the supply list and the steps. This is so fun, so easy. And like I said, you probably have this stuff already in your house. So the first thing that we're going to need, I'm going to set these aside because I'll show you that later. But you're going to need paper to dye. So you can get paper from a bunch of sources. I like for my journal cover, like to use just cardstock. This is printer cardstock. You can get anywhere, but you can also use just plain printer paper. So like I said, I like the cardstock. It's just a little thicker for my journal cover. Like I said, it just wears and tears a little bit better. But if you don't have cardstock, use binder paper if you have it. And then you need pages for your journal. And honestly, the cheapest place that I found to get lined paper is just to get a composition book. And you can usually get these for $1 or less. Maybe you have a couple hanging around in your, junk drawer or maybe by your nightstand. But if you want to use the pages from these, all you have to do is find the center page and then cut out the threading. So there's the thread that holds all the sheets together. You just cut that out. Oh, am I echoing? Is it real bad, Veronica? Hang on a second. I think I know what's going on. Okay, Veronica, let me know if this is better. I think I had both of my microphones on. So if you can't, it's kind of a weird setup. You would laugh at me if you could actually see like my filming setup. It's quite goofy, but I have two. Let me know if it's any better. If not, I can end this and then just jump right back in. So let me know if it's any better. Oh, it is better. Yay, okay. So I just had two. I'll kind of start over. So much better. I'm sorry, ladies. I have my phone and my iPad. And if both of the microphones are on, it's a whirlwind of my voice, which is horrible. So I'm going to start over real quick. So what I'm going to show you guys how to make is a really cute, fun journal. So this is what the journal looks like. And these are things you probably already have at home. So if you guys want the supply list and the steps, because like I said, once I show you how to do this, you're going to go, oh my gosh, that's so simple. But if you want those, just text me and I'll send it to you once I'm done showing you guys here on the live. So once we have our cover, I like to use cardstock, but you can just use plain printer paper too. Or if you have some really pretty scrapbook paper, you could use that as the cover, but this is just your standard 8.5 by 11. So all the pages that I'm using, I'm going to customize to fit this. So you can get paper a lot of places, but I like to use a composition book, and all you have to do is cut out, if you have like a seam ripper or even like a really sharp X-Acto knife, just cut out the threading in the center of the composition book, and then you have all the pages. So once again, just get a composition book. If you don't have one floating around, you can get one Dollar Tree, Walmart, Walgreens, anywhere. And then just cut out the pages. But you'll notice the pages are bigger than the cover. So I'll cut those down. Another place that you can get paper that you won't have to cut is just to get simple binder paper. But the thing with binder paper is that if you use binder paper, which see, it fits perfectly, but if this is your journal, your lines are going to be going up and down instead of side to side, which is kind of fun. You could kind of write your journal in a funky way. That's a cool thing to do too. It's a lot easier, but it's up to you. So I'm going to show you how to use the composition paper because, like I said, then your lines are going the correct way, but you will have to trim this down. I'm so glad. Thank you for letting me know about the volume or the echoing. I want to make sure you guys can hear what I'm saying because, like I said, this is so fun. I've done this. I've done journal making with ladies at my church. I'm actually going to do this paper dyeing with some ladies in recovery next month. So I'm super excited, but I wanted to jump on here and share. So this is just a piece of cardstock. Hey, ma'am, how are you? Memory's going to come visit me here very quickly in a few weeks, 3 weeks. So we have binder paper, and then this is that same composition paper, but I just cut it down. So see how this will fit in here now? It's smaller, and the dimensions of this, so regular piece of paper is 8.5 by 11. I like to have a little bit of a margin. See how there's this little bit of a margin around the pages? You don't have to, but you can either cut this down to 8.5 by 11, or I did 7.5 by 10. So 7.5 by 10, just like I said, so there's a little bit of margin. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. So I have paper and I have my cover. However you want to source that, you can even use just plain binder paper and just have really pretty plain sheets with no lines. So 3 different options to source your paper from that you probably have floating around your house. So then our second step is to get some stencils. Let me set this to the side. Oh, let me show you what some of the pages look like. So these are just pages that I've already dyed. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. See how that's the hummingbird? So how fun would it be to be flipping through a journal and then have that be like the page in the middle? So really pretty hummingbird. Here's one that was a really pretty feather. This one's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but this is actually like a fish. And I used yellow and green. So like I said, I'll show you guys how all to do this, but I want to just give you examples. Here's just some really cool, is it called filigree? I don't know what this is called, but like just some pretty stenciling. This is one that is just some flowers. Like I said, super easy. I can't wait to tell you guys how to do this because you're going to go, oh my gosh, that's so simple. Here's kind of a gears, kind of like a steampunk look. That's one of my favorite stencils. Here's that same one, but in blue. And I'm going to show you these two side by side, and then you'll kind of understand how I created these. So see how that one looks that way? And then that one, the gears are white, but the in-between is blue. So I'll show you how to do that. Here's a pretty yellow, kind of like the yellow is a little hard to see on camera, but it's like a mandala. Oh, here's a better view of that. So you can see you get these really cool effects. So that's what the pages will look like after we dye them. So in order to dye them, I use stencils. And because I'm an artist and I teach art lessons, I have a ton of stencils. This is a small sample of my stencils. But like I said, here's a really cool, I just cherry pick some for this project check, but use what you have. And I mean, some of my stencils I've gotten from the dollar store. I've gotten some of these from Walmart. I mean, Amazon, great place to get stencils is Amazon. But here's that really cool kind of one that looked like the gears. Throwing them around. This is that really pretty mandala one. I have about a dozen of these. Those are really cool. This is one I got from the dollar store. It's just really pretty flowers. kind of cool little mermaid or fish scales. Another pretty mandala. Kind of a cool just design. Once again, you can get stencils from anywhere. They don't have to be expensive because stencils can get expensive, but just use what you have. Check out garage sales or even like thrift stores. Some thrift stores have really cool like craft sections. Some pretty flowers. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of hard as I'm sticking them up. This is one of my favorites. So because I'm a Montana girl, see how cute that is with the mountains and the deer. As you can tell, it's dirty because I've used it a lot because I love that one. Here's a pretty, oh, this one's kind of cute. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's see. Probably not. It's two birds. So there's one bird here and one bird there. Kind of fun. And then this is a really cool one. It's just kind of like a lacy pattern. So I just kind of randomly picked some of my stencils, but I want you to see how easy and fun this is. Okay, so like I said, you probably have these items in your home. Drum roll for the world's easiest and coolest paper dye. You want to know what it is? Rubbing alcohol and food coloring. That's it. You can use vinegar, but I find that the rubbing alcohol evaporates quickly, so you get finer lines. It doesn't bleed as much. So once again, rubbing alcohol and food coloring. Just your good old standard food coloring that you can get anywhere. And I have these kind of mixed up in just dollar store spray bottles. I have blue, I have green, and I make them pretty strong because I like it to be nice and dark. But once again, you can mix it, dilute it more if you want a softer, kind of almost like watercolor look. But this is so fun. I'm so excited to share this with you. I'll shut up and I'll actually start doing this. So what I always do is I always do my stencils 2 sheets at a time, or I do one and I fold it on top of itself. So I'll show you what I mean. But I'm going to start with one. And just so you know, this right here is an old pizza box. When I ship art kits, sometimes I use pizza boxes. So use a box or use something, because when you're spraying these, you definitely don't want to get rubbing alcohol and food coloring sprayed all over your, white couch or whatever. So always spray in something just to kind of contain the mess. So this is a pizza box, but use whatever you have. And always make sure you have paper towels handy. Now, once again, I am using rubbing alcohol, and rubbing alcohol has a very potent smell. So if you're going to do this, maybe either do it outside or do it with a window open, because like I said, it can get pretty obnoxious pretty quickly. But this is so much fun to do. Like I said, get your friends together. If you have a group of like teenage girls, this would be really fun. But like I said, I like to do them in sets of 2. I want to see what I should do for my cover. I'm going to do this pretty lace. I like this one. This is one of my favorite ones. As you can see, it's very dirty. So you put one sheet down. It doesn't matter whether it's the cover or a piece of the pages inside. And then I'm going to just do a little spray spritz. One quick second. I got to rearrange, and this is going to be wonky for a minute. Whoopsie. Okay. There we go. So once again, I always also like to use the lid because you can't really see what I'm doing, but I can kind of spray it and make sure there's actual food coloring in the little straw. So I'm going to come in here, and I always make sure your spray bottle is on a mist. Don't do like the direct stream. But I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to do maybe 2 or 3 spritzes. You don't want to go overboard. So just kind of come in here. Don't drench it. And then I come in with a second page, and I lay it right on top, and it absorbs. So I'm going to lift that up and show you guys how pretty that is. And this will look really cool even once it dries. And then when I lift this up, I have that page dyed as well. See how pretty that is? So you get 2 sheets per stencil. Or per application. And also with rubbing alcohol, with the thicker cardstock, it's really not, it might absorb a little bit through the other side, but with plain printer paper or plain composition book paper, or even binder paper, it's going to soak through both sides. So that's really pretty. So we did. And because this is just rubbing alcohol and food coloring, the stencils are super easy to clean with just some kind of soap and water. Thank you, Tony. This is one of my favorite activities. If you've heard me talk for more than 2 seconds, you know I'm kind of artistically ADD. I love to try new stuff. I love to do different projects, and I love to share them. When I started doing these, it was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing. So there's the technique where you have 2 different sheets. This is another kind of option. So if you want to do 1 sheet and then just cover up half, so wherever your paper seam is, just cover up half. I'm going to do my green this time. Just kind of come in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to fold the other half on top. So this is how you can create 1 sheet if you want to do half and half, or you just take it. Oh, isn't that cute? It's very like a 70s flower power, you know, but like I said, it even dyes the other side. So this entire sheet of paper is dyed on both sides. Tony says you're the same way. I like, honestly, for me, I joke because people are like, what's your favorite medium? Or like, what, my hair's all goofy, you guys. I try to be all cute and whimsical, and it's like, so sorry about my hair. My hat's goofy too. Like I can go on Pinterest or YouTube. My husband jokes that the only thing that strikes fear in his heart is when I go, I found this cute project on YouTube I want to do. So I just like trying new stuff. I think it's the creative soul in me. But I'm going to do 2 pages with this one. Let's do that really fun kind of cogs. And I mean, you can even do your stencils like kind of at an angle. Get creative and have fun. And then also you can also layer colors. Once again, you don't want to saturate and soak your pages. You just want to put a little bit of color. So I can do a little bit of green. I'm running out of juice. And then you can also add a little bit of blue on top of that too. But like I said, don't go nuts and drench it. Tony says, I would love to work in my journal Bible. I love all mediums. Me too, girl. And actually with journaling, I kind of started to do Bible journaling. And then I have a really good friend. Her name's Rachel Reed. She's amazing. And she has awesome tutorials on YouTube. She's on Facebook. So check out Rachel Reed. It's R-E-I-D. But see how cool that is? And it doesn't have to be perfect. I like it if it's not perfect, you know? And like I said, as the rubbing alcohol and food coloring dries, it will look a little bit different on your pages. So I'm just setting these to the side for them to dry. Remember, rubbing alcohol dries super, super quick. So by the time I'm done spraying all these sheets, I'm going to be able to sew it together into a journal. So you'll see how fast this goes. But like I said, my main word of advice is do this with a window open or do this outside if you can. But like I said, if you're going to, oops, I'm dropping my spray bottles. If you're going to journal, you might as well, you know, do it, make it pretty. I'm going to use this really fun kind of mountain and deer landscape one. That's getting a little thick on me. There we go. So you want like more of a mist like that. So I have that. I'm going to bring my second page over, press down, and get that really cool negative image. So this looks kind of blotchy and doesn't look really awesome, but I'm going to set this to the side, and when it dries, you'll see more of the picture. So like I said, I'm using rubbing alcohol and food coloring. You can use, you can even go on YouTube and learn how to dye paper with like coffee and tea. It's really cool. But like I said, this is stuff that most of the time you have in your house already. Most people have rubbing alcohol and food coloring laying around. And then it's just, you know, get your hands on some really cool stencils and just start having fun. So I'm going to do these flowers. Test out your spray bottles because sometimes, like my green, it's kind of squirting out large droplets instead of like a fine mist. So I may have to change it up. See these really pretty flower, just a little essence of them. I'm gonna grab my blue spray bottle. The bottle just has a little bit better of a mist. That's the main thing you want to look for when you are looking for a good spray bottle. Only a couple more pages. I did, I think, a total of 10 of these cut out from a composition book. And so when you sew it together, you'll actually have a total of, I think, 40 pages. And I'll show you how I do that math. Let's see what else we want. I think these mandalas are one of my favorite. They're so pretty. And they look great whether you do it full sheet or even do it like half and half like I was talking about. But see how that's better when it's like a mist? And in here. And on the paper. Terry says, I have dyed paper with coffee before. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. How are you, Terry? Terry, you got to try this. So all I'm using for paper dye is rubbing alcohol and food coloring. You can also use vinegar. I'm sure there's a ton of different other recipes, but I like the rubbing alcohol because it just dries quickly. It evaporates quickly. Move my light so it's not so weird. You're kind of getting some weird shadows. I'm going to do one more and I'll do this like the half sheet and then I'll start binding this together. So once again, I'm using rubbing alcohol and food coloring. If you want the supply list, because I know I kind of squawked it pretty quickly, but I can give you a supply list and the steps. Just text me. I'll be more than happy to send that to you. As soon as I'm done doing this, I'll send those out to you. So I have all my sheets drying. I'm actually going to show you how to sew a journal together. Now, I have a big stapler, like it's about 1 foot long, so it can go, so like this one I did with a stapler. So see how you can see the staple right there. So I have a big stapler that can actually come in and it'll clamp the big way. Most people don't have those. So I can show you how to bind it together very, very easily with just some thread and a needle, and then either like a push pin or a big, I always say this word wrong. It's AWL. I don't know if that's how you say it. Let me grab some paper clips real quick, just keep all my pages together. Okay. So we're going to start with our journal cover. Now see the journal cover, see how pretty that already looks? Not pretty. And like I said, you know what, I'll even do the inside. Sometimes the inside does absorb because the paper is a little bit thicker. It just doesn't absorb as much. But I'll just do a real quick one like this. And get a paper towel. You don't want it too wet because you don't want this layer soaking through to the cover. So just blot that a little bit. So there we have a really pretty lacy kind of outside. And then it'll be a pretty mandala. So I'm going to start layering my pages. And you don't really have to go in any certain order. I almost kind of like it when it's a little bit random. Kind of like me. I'm a lot bit random. And my pages are still a little bit wet, but it would just be another 2 to 3 minutes before these were completely dry. And if you're doing this with a fan on or the window open or even outside, look how pretty that looks, you guys. That has like blue and green in it. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. Okay, here's an oops. See that big blob there up there top? That was where my bottle fell over. Who cares? It's fun because it's handmade. And I always like to pick something real like dramatic for my center page. Let me see if I have one that's just gorgeous. Like this would be a really pretty center page. So when you have your pages together, make sure they're nice, and I kind of say they're tacoed because if you look at them, they're all kind of tacoed together. But you're just going to layer your pages however you like them. Here's our center page. So see, there's our center sheet, but make sure they're all kind of packed nice and tight together. And then I'm going to use some paper clips to kind of hold them together because you don't want them moving apart. You have a couple different layers here. And I'm all snug as a bug in a rug. If you guys do this project, please send me a picture of what you create. And then find the center of your cover. And once again, use those paper clips just to hold everything in place. Nice and secure. Now we bust out the needle and thread. So I actually have journal making supplies because like I said, I've done this project a few times, but you can definitely use any kind of thread. This is actual wax coated thread for binding books, but you can use just a heavy duty if you have like an upholstery thread or anything that's just a real thick, heavy duty thread. You don't have to use fancy book binding wax coated thread, but just thread. Something to pierce through the layers of paper. I don't know how to say it, but anyways, and then a needle. And once again, just find your heaviest gauge needle because you're going to have some pretty thick thread even if you use like upholstery thread. And then just like if you were sewing something in home ec, thread the needle. Thread the needle. Embroidery thread. Terry, yeah, if you go to any place that carries thread, you can get embroidery thread. Maybe upholstery thread, embroidery thread. Am I making up things? Sometimes I do that. I've always called it upholstery thread, but maybe embroidery thread is better. Anything that's a heavy gauge, heavy duty, whatever the thickest, heaviest thread you can get, whatever it's called, buy it. Or if you have it in your house, use it. So what I'm going to do is make 3 kind of punctures on the seam of my book. I try and get one right in the middle, and then one kind of close to the end, and one kind of close to the other end. And I just am putting those dots for reference for you to see. They don't have to be exact. Like I said, I just eyeballed it, but you have one in the middle, and that's right where your book's going to fold. One in the middle, one at the top, and one at the bottom. And then I'm going to take this, and be careful, don't spork your finger, but you're going to come in here and puncture through all of the layers. So there's the outside, there's the inside. That's why these paper clips are handy, because they're going to keep everything lined up. You don't want to lose where you poked the hole, but please be careful. I don't want a bunch of pictures of like bloody fingertips. Don't poke yourself, people. But now I have 3 holes that go from one side to the other. And now we're going to start sewing. There's a couple different ways to do this. You don't have to do this exact sewing pattern, but once again, this is just one that I saw that worked well, and so this is what I did. So I'm going to start on the inside. This is the inside of my journal, and I'm going to start and go from the inside in the center hole to the outside. And I'm going to pull this all the way until there's only like maybe, I don't know, about, oopsie. Only about maybe like a tail that's about an inch or 2. So you can hold it with your finger if you want. So you came from the inside to the outside, and it doesn't matter if you go top or bottom, bottom, top, it doesn't, just pick one. And you're going to go from the middle outside to the top or bottom inside. Pull that. Don't pull it all the way through, but pull it kind of taut. We'll use a fancy word. And then you're going to go from the top all the way to the bottom. I have a little diagram I can send along with the supplies and the steps, because I know that this is kind of hard to see. It's white thread on white paper. So like I said, it's not as hard. And then I'm just going to go back to that original middle hole and then come up on the inside. Now this is kind of an important part. So I'm going to pull this out, and then you can just pull your thread. So I'll do this up close to the camera so you can see. So if you notice, this is on the inside of my journal, and I have these 2 little tails. See how one's going to the right, one's going to the left? This is important. So So you need one on each side of that center thread. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it tight. So you kind of pull both edges of this thread and then tie a double, triple, quadruple knot if you want to make sure it's extra secure. And you can even put a little dot of glue. Take off your paper clips, and how pretty is your journal? Like I said, super easy, less than 30 minutes. And that's with me running around. Let me get some scissors and I'll cut off that little tail of the thread. But super easy. And like I said, you probably have most of this stuff in your home already. You know, binder paper, composition book, printer paper, cardstock maybe even. But all I used was rubbing alcohol and food coloring in whatever colors you want, and some stencils. And then thread, needle, and scissors, and a push pin or something just to puncture all of your layers of paper. So like I said, this is super fun, and what a fun gift to give. I've given these as gifts. You can, if you need to mail them as a gift, but how pretty is that? I'll just kind of go through this kind of quickly so you guys can see. Boop, there we go. How pretty these pages are. So this is dyed and assembled in less than 30 minutes. But see, even this one, like you don't see, like it didn't absorb all of the color. Who cares though? It's still a beautiful page. And even though these are dyed, they still are very, very easy to, oh, I did that one upside down. Whoopsie. But see, there's that cute little mountain scene, or half of it, I should say. And then there's the other half. Some pretty flowers. What I was saying though is, you know, like sometimes you go to write on paper, and if it's dyed or has anything on it, you can, like your pen won't write. This, the rubbing alcohol won't affect even like a ballpoint pen. Super, super fun. There's our little flower power nod to the 70s and bell bottoms. So if you guys make one of these, please share with me what you create. There's that pretty center page. There we go. So bam, when you open it up, that's that center page. But one thing I love to do is, whether I'm making a journal or painting, if I'm making something for somebody, I'm a person of prayer. And so I like to pray for the person. So like, let's say you're making, oh, I love that. That's my favorite. Let's say you're making this for a friend that's going through a rough time. You know, you can make this, and as you're making it, you know, you can pray for them, or if you're into sending good vibes, you know, whatever, however you want to say it. But I just, to me, to be intentional is a big deal. And I think in today's day and age, there's a lot of people that aren't intentional. And so I try to be intentional. I love this page. And so, you know, in order to make something for somebody and say, hey, I made this gift for you, you know, and as I was making it for you, I was thinking about you or praying for you. I think there's a lot to be said for that. So I don't want to like get on a weird, you know, like let's make things for our friends. But I think there's a lot to be said for when you make something with your hands, but also are praying or thinking about the person. I think that that just puts love and good intention in that gift, and then you can kind of share it with them, or make it for yourself. You know, think of like all of the good things that you know you want in your life while you make it. But super fun. And if you're gonna journal in something pretty. I mean, come on, we like pretty things as girls. I know I have guys watching this too, but once again, just a really easy way to use binder paper, composition book paper, cardstock, even printer paper, a couple fun stencils that you may have laying around, or go pick some up inexpensively. Don't spend a ton of money. You know, like I said, check out Dollar Tree, check out, I don't know if 99-cent store sells supplies, but look at thrift stores, look at garage sales, look in Facebook Marketplace. Find ways to get creative and just have fun with it. And then once again, you can mix whatever colors you want. I just happen to have blue and green. But use food coloring, rubbing alcohol, and then sew it together, and you have a really, really fun journal. If you want the supply list and the steps and the little diagram that shows you how to tie this together, just shoot me a text. And then as soon as I get off of this live, I'll make sure to send it to you guys. But I hope you are having a wonderful day. Like I said, I'm so excited. I am going to teach this project with some ladies in recovery. And I'm so excited about that because, you know, they're going through a life change and I want them to journal about that experience and remember the milestones and the reasons why they're changing their life and all those things. So what a great thing to kind of share. Or if you know, have some, you know, a youth group that you volunteer with. This is a fun project, super inexpensive. And especially since the weather's nice, you could easily do this outside. Do remember rubbing alcohol has a strong scent. It does go away quickly, but just make sure you're in a well ventilated area. And if you get a little bit of dye on your fingers, it's fine. It comes off with soap and water. But I hope you guys are having a great day. Please, please, if you make one of these, I want to see what you create. So send me a picture and we'll talk to you later.